Happy Monday, television friend. Hi, it's Monday, the 23rd day of March, 2026. We're off to a great week here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I don't even know what day of the week it is. I am Dan Kuntz. Beautiful morning right now, 36 degrees. We're going to do it all over again. We had a beautiful weekend. People were out and about everywhere over the weekend, and why not? Sunshine at 59 was the high on Saturday. Sunshine for the most part. 59 yesterday. Guess what we're going to have today? Sunshine for the most part, and a high of about 59. And then a cold front moves in. Tomorrow, rain, especially tomorrow afternoon, and we're going to cool down quite a bit. The Tuesday is the only bad day of the week for clouds and rain. We could use the rain anyway. Outside of tomorrow, it's looking to be a pretty nice week, although a little on the cool side. Details will be forthcoming. We'll have some news to get to. We had 3 local college basketball teams in the big dance, 2 ladies, 1 man, and it is Monday morning, and none of them are still dancing, talking about both Gonzaga teams and the Washington women. We'll have that. The Wenatchee Wild season has come to an end. We'll talk about that. A lot of prep action, by the way, over the weekend. We'll touch on that. And speaking of preps, in the back half of the program, part 2 of my 2-part interview with Dennis Tronson, recently stepped down as the head soccer coach at Cashmere after coaching them to great success over many, many years. And of course, he was also the Wenatchee boys coach, again with great success, again over many, many years. We had a great conversation with Dennis. We made it the 2-parter because, well, we did, because we can do that. All right, let's do this, folks. It's 2 minutes after the hour. It's tour time. Sun's up. Sun's been up for about 5 minutes. 6:57 was sunrise officially this morning. That is the Wenatchee Heights camera. Malcolm has it pointed down the Columbia River towards Rock Island. You can see the sun just peeking up over the East Wenatchee Bench. Yeah, back-to-back 59s on Saturday and Sunday. Up to the Omi Garden camera we go. Mission Ridge is on the upper right-hand corner of your screen. That camera is basically about the same height, maybe a little bit higher than the cross camera, but it gives us a nice bookend having those cameras on either side of the valley. That's actually not in Omi Gardens. It's a little ways away from Omi Garden, but it's close enough. McNeil Canyon did a very tip-top we go. You can see a little bit of Lake Chelan on the other side. Lake is up. Lake is up for this time of the year. Anyway, it's all the early snowmelt. This is the worst snowpack in memory for a lot of people. For us here in north central Washington, the Wenatchee Valley, the snowpack that really affects us as far as irrigation is concerned is really southern British Columbia. It's that snowpack and that snowmelt in southern British Columbia that will eventually be watering our orchards. The snowpack in central Washington will eventually work its way down to the Tri-Cities, but it's been a bad year and it's all but disappeared, which for this time of the year, March, is not very common. And there is the Billy Goat camera. Let me check in up there. Pateris, you were at 34 degrees. We're leading the parade at 36 degrees. Spectacular view from our Billy Goat camera. Although I did notice that the Met Howe was running a little muddy. So when the Met Howe empties into the Columbia River, there you can see the silt line in there. Not right now, but give us an hour or so and you'll be able to check that out. From our friends at Colonial Vista Senior Living in Wenatchee, it's where comfort, care, and community come together. 59 Saturday, 59 Sunday, 59 today. Very late in the afternoon, we'll start seeing some clouds rolling in by sunset tonight, which is about 7:18. Well, it is at 7:18, not about. It will be at 7:18. It'll be fairly cloudy. 44 for the overnight low. Clouds all day Tuesday. Rain, especially Tuesday afternoon from about 11 a.m. until about 6 to 6:30. We're going to have pretty consistent rain on Tuesday, still right around normal for the afternoon high, but it's going to be a rainy Tuesday afternoon. The rain will be tapering off overnight Tuesday night as the cold air seeps in. We'll get down to about 38 degrees. Tuesday night snow, by the way, on Stevens Pass, about 3 to 4 inches expected there, heads up. And then we have lots of sunshine, but cooler than normal temperatures. Our normal high this time of the year is 55. It won't get there on Wednesday and Thursday. Overnight lows chilly as well, and then we gradually warm up, and another gorgeous weekend. Back-to-back beautiful weekends are in store for us once we get to Saturday, Sunday. It's looking good, but we got to get there first. Again, rain tomorrow. That's really about it. Going to take a break and come back with your news. You're watching a Monday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCW Life, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Hi, I'm Amanda Walden with A. Walden Insurance Group. Medicare can be overwhelming, but you don't have to figure it out alone. I've been helping people understand their Medicare options for over a decade. Medicare isn't a one-size-fits-all. I'll help you understand your coverage options so you can feel confident in your decisions. Let's find the right Medicare plan for you. Call me today or come and see me at my office located on South Chelan Avenue in Wenatchee between the YMCA and the Social Security office. I look forward to meeting you soon.
This March, Lake Chelan welcomes food and wine lovers to an unforgettable experience. Taste Chelan. Chelan Valley's top wineries and restaurants create the perfect pairing of fine wines and culinary delights. With 4 weekends to explore, every visit offers something fresh and exciting. From your first sip to the last bite, every moment is a delicious adventure. But don't wait, tickets are selling fast. Visit tastechelan.com today.
At Colonial Vista Senior Living, we believe life is meant to be lived fully. Our wellness programs inspire residents to stay strong, flexible, and confident every day. Here, curiosity is encouraged, friendships are nurtured, and every activity is an opportunity to connect, create, and enjoy life together. We invite you to experience the lifestyle at Colonial Vista Senior Living for yourself and discover why so many call our community home.
Beautiful morning, sunshine for everybody, 36 degrees, 59 again today for the third straight day. Lots of sunshine, late afternoon clouds, rain from about 11 a.m. tomorrow morning till about 7 or 8 o'clock tomorrow evening. So it's going to be cloudy and a bit wet on Tuesday, then right back to sunshine, but pretty cool temperatures for the rest of the week. It's 7 minutes after the hour when the Wenatchee Valley talks about fast food. Among the national chains that a lot of people want to see here in the Valley is Chick-fil-A, the popular chicken chain. But despite early talks, the company now says it does not plan to open a location here in the Wenatchee Valley. Wenatchee World reporter Oscar Rodriguez filed this report.
For 2 years, hopes have been high the national fast food franchise Chick-fil-A might establish a new location here at North Wenatchee Avenue on city-owned property. Confluence Parkway project construction and other materials are currently on the site. Chick-fil-A held what's called a pre-application meeting back in August 2024, but has since then not filed for any permits, and we learned this week that Chick-fil-A does not plan to construct a new location in this area. The company provided us with the following statement. We are always evaluating potential new locations in the hopes of serving existing and new guests great food with remarkable service. While we would very much like to have more restaurants in Wenatchee, we have no new locations to confirm at this time. Glenn DeVries, the City of Wenatchee's Community Development Director, let us know that the city's broker is currently working with an interested party that may be interested in the location, but did not elaborate further on the topic. Reporting from Wenatchee, this is Oscar Rodriguez with NCW Life.
A Chelan man is accused of exposing himself to 2 11-year-old boys while sitting in his vehicle. This happened Tuesday near the Chelan Gorge Park. Sheriff's deputies arrested 23-year-old Isai Suarez Sanchez on gross misdemeanor charges of criminal trespass and indecent exposure to a person under the age of 14. Investigators say Suarez exposed himself and offered the boys $5 in exchange for a sex act. This happened about 5 o'clock on Tuesday afternoon. Then he drove away from the area of East Trow Avenue and Navarre Street. The youth then called 911 immediately. They identified Suarez from a collection of photographs. Deputies say Suarez lives with mental health issues and was recently trespassed from Morgan Owings Elementary School in Chelan for allegedly visiting the playground while class was in session. He remains held in the Chelan County Jail on a $1,500 bond. He faces a district court hearing today. Residents in Douglas County have a new option for safely getting rid of their household chemicals. The county's moderate risk waste facility. It opened Thursday with a ribbon cutting ceremony offering drop-off services. It's a 6114 Batterman Road, that's just outside of Rock Island. The new $1.5 million center has been on the drawing board for years. Finally got its launch through a Department of Ecology grant and a host agreement with waste removal company WM. Douglas County Solid Waste Coordinator Becca People says the facility will eliminate the need for yearly waste collection pop-up events, which have helped take up to 40,000 pounds of hazardous material out of the waste stream every year.
So it's been in the planning for about 3 years, but we haven't been able to do the building part of it except for about the last 2 years.
This has been a moment that we have been looking forward to for a long time, and at times it felt like it may never come, but today is that day, and it really is a demonstration of partnerships and the strength in partnerships. The facility that you see here, by and large, was as a result of funding through WM, our partnership with WM, the Department of Ecology, Douglas County, and others that have made this possible.
Each event in total can cost us around $75,000. So our program is completely grant funded, except we also get a little bit of funding from Waste Management, WM. So $75,000 is a big hit to us. There are times when grant funding has gone down that we can only do one a year instead of 2 a year. And so people then bring an immense amount to that one a year. And we've had to close down some because there's so much waste brought in. Now we won't have that issue.
I know that for our citizens, this is a service that they highly value. Every year, for a number of years, we have put on collections, I think twice a year. And while those are great, they're not always convenient for folks.
We won't have any events any longer. We will be open here Mondays and Thursdays from 7 to 4 and the third Saturday of every month from 7 to noon. All of your household chemicals, anything you do in your yard, your garden, your pool. We also will take used grease from your house, like from cooking grease and oil and antifreeze, but really any of your household chemicals. Now, no businesses right now. We will be phasing that in to where businesses can bring their stuff here. And now no agricultural waste or chemicals. But we do have sources to get rid of those. Approximately 1.5 million. So it is a lot because of everything that goes into it, all the specialized things that are needed. Just to say because we don't have any water here. So our shower, let alone, was $46,000 just for that unit. But then all the rest of the specialized stuff. So it comes to about 1.5. It's free to Douglas County residents. We do ask that if you'd like to give, a $10 donation, that really helps keep this running. So that would be great. One thing that's kind of silly, I guess, people will bring in containers with oil and stuff, and they want those containers back. We're not always going to have the time to empty that and then give you your container back. So just be mindful of the containment that you bring.
Governor Bob Ferguson signed a new law Thursday to prevent law enforcement officers in Washington from wearing face coverings to disguise their identities. Senate Bill 5855 was aimed at immigration officers who wear masks while detaining their targets. At least they have in cities across the country. The Washington legislature passed it earlier this month over Republican opposition.
Law enforcement's job, of course, is to protect us. Yet ICE is hiding from public accountability. For the safety of both the public and for law enforcement, Washingtonians must know they are interacting with legitimate law enforcement officers. I'm honored to be with you all today to sign this legislation which prohibits law enforcement, including federal immigration agents, from wearing masks while conducting official business in Washington state. This bill establishes important transparency and public accountability measures to protect public safety. It also shows our immigrant community, our friends, family, and neighbors, that we will stand up to protect them, that they have a place in our state, and that they can feel safe in their home.
State lawmakers from the 7th Legislative District will hold a town hall meeting this week. Senator Shelley Short and Representatives Hunter Abel and Andrew Engel will give a 2026 legislative session review during the in-person event. All constituents are invited to show up, and the lawmakers will also be taking questions. from the participants. The town hall will take place at the Omak City Hall building on Ash Street this Thursday, March 26th. The one-hour event will begin at 5:30 in the afternoon. And NCW Life is helping your wallet and trying to save you a few bucks at the same time, especially during that midday meal. Reporter Long Tran is checking out some of the best local places you can get lunch on a budget.
North Central Washington has a bustling food scene. Today, we'll be heading to a spot where you can grab lunch for under $18. Let's head into Owl Soda Fountain and Gifts. Let's go.
We are a Wenatchee landmark, so we are 100 years old this year. We opened in 1926 on the Wenatchee Ave. We are a 100-year-old establishment, and we took over the business, me and my mom, in 2020, right before COVID hit. I'm a chef by trade. I'm a pastry chef by trade. I went to culinary and baking and pastry. And let's be real honest, I didn't go to school to flip a burger, but I flip a mean burger. What we pride ourselves on is definitely trying to price accordingly so that we aren't losing money, but price accordingly so that people feel like they can come here daily, maybe, as a lunch special. So, but really, I would say we sell a lot of our burger and milkshake special combos. So they get chips, they get a milkshake, and they get a burger. And that's well under $18.
Hi.
Hello, how are you today?
I'm good, how are you?
Good. What can I get for you?
So I have $18. What can I get here for $18?
Well, our burger is one of our best sellers, and we can do a special, which comes with a milkshake and some chips. It just kind of depends on what you're in the mood for, but that's probably your best bargain.
Awesome, well, I'll get that.
You want a burger?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you so much. So my final bill came to about $16.32, and that's for the lunch value meal, which comes with a burger, some chips, and a milkshake. So for under $18, this is a great deal. Let's take a bite. So good. If you have a favorite lunch for under $18, contact us at news@ncwlife.com. Reporting from Wenatchee, I'm Long Tran, NCW Life.
And that is what's making news on this Monday. Weekend's done. We're back to work. Well, most of them anyway. I'm kind of slack off on Mondays. But the news will be coming your way at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock tonight, so stay in the loop. NCW Life Evening News, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock on television, on YouTube, right around 5 o'clock. I apologize in advance for not shaving this morning, by the way. Just didn't have the time. If you have a news tip, send us an email, news@ncwlife.com. I'll be clean shaven tomorrow, I promise. Sports is next. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Welcome to Mountain Chick Floral, your go-to flower and plant shop in downtown Wenatchee. Explore their wide variety of unusual and fun plants. And when you buy a plant in a container, they'll pot it up for you absolutely free. Birthday or weddings, they'll create the perfect floral arrangement for you. Brighten up your office with fresh blooms delivered to your door or business. Ask about floral subscriptions. Visit Mountain Chick Floral today, where every occasion is a reason to celebrate with flowers.
Apple Valley Honda is bringing the future of driving to you. Introducing the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue EV. Say goodbye to gas stations and hello to a whisper-quiet ride and zero emissions. The wait is over. Finally, a local option for a quality EV from a brand with a track record of exceptional quality and reliability. Experience the Honda Prologue EV for yourself at family-owned Apple Valley Honda. Stay close to home and visit us at Apple Valley Honda today for the life you live.
Highlander Golf Course and Grill, your place for fun, food, and friends. Happy hour every day, 2 to 7. Try their brand new menu and famous prime rib every Saturday night. Planning a celebration? Book your holiday party, wedding, or private event, even in their exclusive simulator rooms. Highlander Golf Course and Grill, where every day is a celebration. Visit today.
For over 35 years, the Sangster family has been not only representing GMC, but the entire community.
As one of the few family-owned dealerships in Washington, you can count on our personal integrity, which has spanned over 3 generations, to ensure your satisfaction.
Sangster Motors stands behind everything we sell, from GMC professional-grade products and service from a professional-grade dealership.
Remember, caring about your family is what brings you back to ours.
Sports at 20 minutes after the hour. Well, they knocked off Kennesaw State in the first round, but the Gonzaga men got their chin handed to them over the weekend. Number 11 Texas, who had to play in the first 4 just to make to the round of 64, are now in the Sweet 16. Gonzaga is upset by Texas over the weekend, 74-68. Gonzaga's season comes to an end. They finished 31-4, but outside the Sweet 16 for the second time in 2 years. For the Washington women, going to TCU's home court is a tall challenge. I mean that literally. TCU is the tallest team in women's college basketball. They had won 44 straight at home, and although they took them to overtime, Huskies came up just a little bit short. TCU, the Horned Frogs, eliminate the Huskies from the women's tournament. The final was 62-59 in overtime. The Lady Huskies finished 22-11, and the Lady Gonzaga Bulldogs didn't even make it out of the first round. They lost to number 5 Ole Miss, and in a big way, 81-66. It wasn't even that close. The Gonzaga women finished 24-10. If the Kraken are going to make the Stanley Cup playoffs, they better start playing some better hockey than they have been. They've now lost 3 in a row. On Saturday, they lost to the Blue Jackets. The final there was 5-2. That was the second game of a 6-game road trip. They're still on the road. They'll take on the Florida Panthers, the defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers, tomorrow at 4 o'clock on Kong TV. One more Cactus League game for the Mariners today before they pack up the bus and head on north to Seattle. They'll take on the Padres today at 12:10. And then they have opening day, which is Thursday, against the Guardians. I'm pretty pumped about that. Yesterday, the Mariners beat the White Sox 4-2 behind a solo homer by Mitch Garver and a very good outing by Brian Wu, who allowed just 1 run on 3 hits in 6 innings of work.
Well, we go to the bottom of the first inning here in Glendale. Mariners nothing. White Sox coming up to face Brian Wu. Now the stretch and the 1-2 on the way. Swing and a miss for strike 3. So Brian Wu with a big strikeout. You can hear the woo in the background. He strikes out Colson Montgomery, and there's 2 outs for the White Sox here in the bottom of the first inning. So strikeout number 1 for Brian Wu.
Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. That was a beauty. No chance for Corey Lee. Wu steps into the pitch. Here it is. Swung on and missed. A bad cut at a ball in the dirt. Another strikeout for Wu. His 3rd of the night. He's retired 10 in a row. Into the motion. He deals. Swung on and missed. Just rocket fire right past him. 11 in a row knocked down by Wu. He delivers. Swung on, popped up into the night sky, behind first base, down the line. Cole Young over. He's in foul territory now. Reaches up, 2-hand catch. Brian Wu puts the finishing touches on an excellent night. 6 innings of 1-run ball.
Mariners nothing. White Sox nothing. Top of the second. Mitch Garver leads it off with a swing and a high drive deep to left center field. Going and way out of here. Goodbye, baseball. Mitch Garver with his first home run of the spring, way to the top of the berm in left field here in Glendale. And Mitch gives the Mariners a 1-0 lead here in the top half of the second. And man, that's got to feel good for Mr. Garver.
I think it's been a pretty good day for Mitch Garver.
Off the end of the bat, a roller to second, a bit of a bobble. But the Mariners will take this final game here.
Mitch Garver did have a good Sunday before the game yesterday. He was told by manager Dan Wilson he will make the big club. He will once again be Cal Raleigh's backup, so congratulations to Mitch Garver. Padres and the Mariners 12:10 today, and then opening day with the Guardians at T-Mobile Park on Thursday. Opening day for baseball, by the way, as a whole, is Wednesday night with the Yankees and the Giants. They get to play by themselves, and then everybody else starts on Thursday. All right, Prep Soccer scoreboard from over the weekend. It was a game that we had for you here on the NCAA Live channel. They played to a 1-1 tie Eastmont and Chiawana. Wenatchee hosted Meade. It was the Panthers against the Panthers, and then Wenatchee had their way. The final there was 8-0. Another action on the pitch, Manson over Brewster 2-1. East Valley, who's pretty good, shut out Ephrata 6-0. Okanagan shut out Colville on the pitch 7-0, while Luke snuck by Cashmere 3-1. Omak doubled up Bridgeport 4-2. Cascade slipped by Toppenish, and Tenasket over Newport. Prep baseball on Friday. The Chiawana Riverhawks and the Wenatchee Panthers did battle at Historic Recreation Park. A lot of runs scored, but Chiawana scored more. They won that one 15-8. Cashmere rolled over Quincy in a non-leaguer 16-5. Cascade over Waterville Mansfield Friday 12-0. And Kettle Falls and Tenasket split their doubleheader. Kettle Falls won the opener. Tenasket won the closing game. Saturday, Wenatchee hosted Cheney, and Wenatchee beat Cheney at Recreation Park. The final there was 8-7. Bothell took care of Eastmont 4-0. Chelan and Okanagan split their doubleheader on Saturday. Chelan won the opener. Okanagan won the nightcap. Manson swept Lake Roosevelt, scoring 18 runs in each game. Prep softball scoreboard from Friday. Chelan, lots of runs. Quincy, not so many. 25-10 there. Brewster over Lake Roosevelt in a slugfest, 16-14. And Moses Lake just snuck by Kennewick in girls fast pitch softball on Friday, 3-2. And then on Saturday at the Sagebrush Showdown in Ephrata, Eastmont ran into a buzz saw. Mark Morris is pretty good. That's a school, not a person. 17-0, but then Eastmont did come back to beat Ording, 22-3. Eisenhower shut out Ephrata in their first game, but Ephrata came back and beat Colville in a tournament that they hosted 11-3. And the rest of prep softball over the weekend, just one split. East Valley, Wenatchee split their doubleheader. East Valley won the opener. Wenatchee won the nightcap. Lake Roosevelt swept Manson. Cle Elum swept Cascade. Jenkins out of Chewelah swept Omak. And Kittitas swept Okanagan. And for the Wenatchee Wild, their season has come to an end. A nice victory on Friday night. They beat the Everett Silvertips, and they beat them in a big way, 5-1. But then on Saturday, they closed out their season. They scored 5 goals. But Everett has the best record in the league. They scored 6, so the Wenatchee Wild season has now come to an end. No playoffs for the Wenatchee Wild. Austin Drade will be on this show on Wednesday to wrap up the Wenatchee Wild season in review. And those are just some of the games that people are playing. 27 minutes after the hour, happy World Meteorological Day. It is National Chia Day. It's National Chip and Dip Day. National Melba Toast Day. Sounds like a jazz artist, doesn't it? Hey, everybody, it's time for Melba Toast. All right. It's National Near Miss Day. But today, it will be puppies. Everybody wants a puppy. It's National Puppy Day today. Who doesn't love puppies? And boy, we get a lot of them. Over 1.2 million puppies are born every day. Fun facts about puppies. The largest litter of puppies, according to the Guinness Book of World Records, 24 puppies in one litter. If it's a healthy puppy, it will double its weight in about a week. That's important. Puppies have baby teeth. They last about 4 months, and their adult teeth grow. Of course, as you probably know, puppies are born both deaf and blind, but they quickly get their hearing and their eyesight. Puppies, newborn puppies, for the first month or so, they'll sleep a lot, about 15 to 20 hours a day. Smaller breeds of dogs have a tendency to have smaller litters. Larger breeds of dogs have larger litters. Dogs are more likely to make those famous puppy eyes when they're being watched by a human being. They think there might be some sort of connection there. And I've read every book that John Steinbeck ever wrote, including Of Mice of Men, and his original master manuscript of the book of Mice and Men was accidentally eaten by a puppy, but he had enough of it in his head, he was able to reconstruct it. Happy National Puppy Day today. There will be puppies. Today in history, March 23rd, 1775, at St. John's Episcopal Church in Richmond, Virginia, Patrick Henry says, and I'm quoting now, "Our brethren are already in the field. Why stand here idle? What is it that gentlemen wish? What could they have if life is so dear or peace so sweet as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery? Forget it, forbid it, God Almighty. I know not what courses others may take, but for me, give me liberty or give me death." His famous speech from Patrick Henry. Kind of a pep talk before the Revolutionary War was on this date in 1775. All right, they're on their way back 220 years ago today. After traveling all the way through the Louisiana Purchase and setting up camp on the shores of the Pacific Ocean on the Oregon coast, Lewis and Clark and the Corps of Discovery break camp and said, we're heading home. It was a pretty miserable winter, the winter of 1806. It basically rained every day. For the record, it took 557 days for the Corps of Discovery to travel from St. Louis, Missouri to the Pacific Ocean. It took 185 days for the Corps of Discovery to travel from the Pacific Ocean back to St. Louis for two reasons. Number one, they knew the route. That helped, having been there before. And number two, it's pretty much all downhill. Once you get over the top of the Rocky Mountains, they just rode the rivers back to St. Louis, and they were pretty motivated to get home, too, as you might imagine. They started their way back 220 years ago today. 93 years ago today, the Reichstag made it official. They passed, unanimously, the Enabling Act of 1933, which basically said, Adolf, you're in charge. Yeah, we have a legislature, we have a Reichstag. We're not going to do anything. You just do whatever you want. Adolf Hitler formally becomes dictator of Nazi Germany on this date in 1933. And 54 years ago today, March 23rd, 1972, the city of New York and the New York Yankees come to an agreement. The city of New York will buy Yankee Stadium from the owners. The Yankees did not own the stadium in 1972. They would buy the old Yankee Stadium. They would spend a couple of years renovating it, and in exchange, the Yankees agreed to stay in Yankee Stadium for an additional 30 years. The price tag for the renovation pegged at $15 million. It actually cost $160 million, and even though they tore down Yankee Stadium 16 years ago, the city of New York is still paying off the bonds for a stadium that isn't there anymore. 32 minutes after the hour today in history is done. It's birthdays, and we would be remiss if we didn't wish a happy heavenly birthday to Betty Nesmith Graham, who was born on this date in 1924. In 1954, she was divorced. She had a young son by the name of Michael Nesmith. She was making $300 a month as a secretary and a typist at a bank in Texas. Barely making ends meet. She was divorced, and she worked for a Texas bank, and she was a typist, and she was a really bad typist. She just wasn't very good at typing. She made constant mistakes, but she noticed, Betty Graham did, that when artists make mistakes when they paint, they just paint over their mistake. She came up with the idea, went to an art supply store, picked up a little tube of white paint in the little tube, and took it to work the next day. When she made mistakes, when she was typing out letters and memorandum, she would take out a little makeup brush and dip it into the paint and cover up the mistake. And nobody seemed to notice that she did that. And all the other secretaries in the secretary pool said, Betty, can we have some of that? She would spend her nights filling up little tools of paint and selling it to her fellow secretaries. She invented liquid paper. She invented liquid paper, and she sold liquid paper to the Gillette Corporation for $47 million in 1979. Now, of course, nobody uses liquid paper anymore. Her son, Michael Nesmith, would go on to join the Monkees. Sir Roger Bannister, the first man to break the 4-minute mile. He did it back in 1954. The first man to run it in under 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 59.4 seconds. Roger Bannister's record lasted for 46 days. The current record, by the way, for the mile, 3 minutes, 43 seconds and one third, and that record has stood for 22 years, but somebody had to be the first, and he was the first. And for you people who follow the Turkish national football team, the national soccer team, you all know that today is Ozan Tufan's birthday. Here's Ozan Tufan. He's part of the Turkish national soccer team today. For heated air, call Alpine Air. For heated air, call Alpine Air. They are our platinum sponsor. Mike Minotti has an opinion about things that are schmaltzy. Some people say Mike is. And then part two of my two-part conversation with the legendary Dennis Tronson. one of the most successful coaches of any kind in prep sports around here. Part 2 of my conversation with Coach is up next. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
NCW Life channel is your local TV station. We believe in being the spotlight and mirror to the communities we serve in North Central Washington. Programming on NCW Life would not be possible without our sponsors. Special thanks to our platinum sponsor, Alpine Air. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air.
When your heating or cooling system is giving you trouble, call the diagnostic doctor from Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning.
Here's the culprit right here.
All joking aside, when you call Dick's, you're calling 35 years of experience at customer service right here in the Wenatchee Valley. Dick's strongly believes in repairing before replacing, and they service all major brands of HVAC units.
Mow, dig, haul, trench. The reliable Kubota BX Series subcompact tractor is highly capable. A smooth hydrostatic transmission makes for easy operation and versatile attachments that help you handle the job. The Kubota BX Series is the #1 selling subcompact tractor in the U.S. Talk to your Kubota dealer to schedule a demo.
I'm Jen Mueller. Watch for my show, I Cook, You Measure on NCW Life. It's part cooking instruction, part entertainment, and all about connecting over food and wine with your favorite Northwest athletes.
Watch I Cook, You Measure with Jen Mueller Mondays at 1, Wednesdays at 2, Fridays at 11 a.m., and Saturday and Sundays at 10:30 p.m. right here on the NCW Life channel.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog McNaughton, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. Now, a cool scene in the movie La La Land, you know, that flick that was almost Best Picture a while ago. The two main characters, Mia and Seb, were dancing and singing while they're commenting on what a waste of a nice evening it was, as they weren't, at that point, romantically involved. Now, Rosie and I both looked at each other, and we kind of grinned during that scene, because many years ago, we were on a church trip to Israel. I was going out for a walk, and I ran into Rosie in the lobby of the hotel, and I asked her, hey, she wanted to come on a walk with me. Well, we ended up sitting on a dock looking at a full moon over the Mediterranean Sea, and we joked about how romantic it was, and how it was just too bad that we weren't two different people romantically involved. Well, over 40 years later, I guess we were the right people after all. Yeah, I know, this is schmaltzy, but that's too bad. This is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and that's my opinion.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCW Life, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
A kitchen that makes mouths water and jaws drop. A bedroom from a dream with a bath from a spa. A walk-in you'd never want to walk out of. A pool like the fountain of youth. And a view that never gets old. When buying or selling a home of the highest standards, it's comforting to be represented by a real estate company with standards to match. Coldwell Banker Global Luxury. Live well with Coldwell.
Fibercrete fireproof safety rooms can be the difference between life and death for you and your family. Typical fireproof safety rooms are 8x8 Fibercrete panels providing a solid sanctuary. Fibercrete safety rooms can be above ground, buried underground, or built within new home construction. Best of all, a safety room by Fibercrete is very affordable. Call 360-770-2088. You owe it to your family to find out more about Fibercrete safety rooms.
Somewhere behind these doors is a family member, often alone, taking care of a loved one with Alzheimer's or some other disability, or providing care for a loved one who is not ill but only aging and no longer able to care for themselves. In the field of caregiving, this is the home front. For the home is where most Americans will live out their last days. Contact Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington for a variety of services including caregiving, meals, and medication help.
Back at it again with part two of our conversation with Coach Dennis Tronson. We talked about the 2016 remarkable run that culminated in the Wenatchee Panther State Championship on the pitch. This is the pitch at the Apple Bowl, and the same year that Wenatchee won the state championship was the same year they put in the field turf, and the field turf has changed the game of soccer at the high school level in any number of ways. Talk about that. Talk about the difference between a grass pitch and the turf here and what that means to you.
Well, first off, if you ask the players, they'd rather play on grass if it's cut and maintained at the right level. In 2015, they were putting in the field turf, so we were kicked out of the Apple Bowl, and our new home became Wenatchee Valley College. And that year, that team went on to the state finals. Unfortunately, lost a heartbreaker in the semis, ended up getting fourth. But the next year, the field turf is in. We're all excited. We're playing on it. We've added field turf now because they had it at Moses Lake, and now we have it here. So we were attuned to playing on it, but then there was trepidation of coming back off of all the success we have. In fact, the players on the 2016 team at the start of the season did not want to play here. No. They wanted to play at Wenatchee Valley College.
I remember that, yes.
They loved the big field. They loved the fast pitch. They just felt so comfortable, and after the success they had, they said, we can't lose there. That was their feeling. Well, then we come here and things went sideways. We did not win all the time at home, and we struggled a little bit on the turf. But yes, it did change the game. From a training standpoint, it enhanced the game because I never had to worry about, wow, is it mowed, is it lined, it's ready to play on. That was after the snow left, but that's just how it went. And yeah, it did change the game. It's a different style of game. Players have to adjust. And I think from a traditionalist standpoint, though, you still look at, you need to have grass. And, you know, they're doing that right now in Seattle, putting in a new grass field. Basically, they're putting templates in and growing grass at Lumen Stadium, which will be Seattle.
Yeah, they can't call it Lumen Field during the World Cup.
Yeah, it'll be Seattle.
We won't get into that.
The pitch at Seattle or something.
Is it simply a faster game? Is that the biggest difference?
Yeah, it's the ball rolls faster.
Yeah.
And, you know, the other thing is because you're on a football field, you have all the lines, where we had the opportunity here in Wenatchee to play on a grass field with only soccer lines, similar to what I have in Cashmere.
And it was a beautiful pitch that they had here.
It was designed off the Seahawks training field with the same sand base. It was, by the time it was taken out, this field and the one at Northwest University, the only sand soccer fields in the state and probably the Northwest. So in the springtime, it was getting them to mow it at the right height, and that was a tough one because everything was designed for football, and I understand that at the time, but they kept doing a better and better job, and it was really nice to play on. Yeah, and it did change the game. People loved to play on this field in the spring, so.
It kind of eliminates any kind of home field advantage outside of the fans and the rowdy student section in that when you play on a natural grass pitch, every pitch is slightly different. Some of them might have a little bit of a crown for drainage. Some, the grass will be longer. Some pitches it's shorter. Field turf kind of neutralizes all of that in a way, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. But there are different blends of field turf. This is a generation from 10 years ago of field turf, and now the new field turf is entirely different. It's playing more like grass. And then how they develop the field, like everybody looks at the professional fields, let's say in Portland and Seattle, well, they have a pad underneath of it. So when the ball bounces, it doesn't bounce. It plays more like grass. But on that token, you seem to have a few more non-contact injuries with the turf. Knee injuries, and when players hit the ground, shoulder injuries, just a little more physical.
I don't want to single out any particular players, either for the Cashmere Lady Bulldogs or the Wenatchee Panther boys who have played for Dennis over the many, many years. I'll let you do that. Talk about some of the, we'll start with the Cashmere girls. Some of the players, some of the talent that you've had over those years that kind of stand out now. Names that you remember specifically.
Well, first off, I'd have to say my own daughter, Anya, it's Anya Belcher now, was the first player that I had that went on and played at the collegiate level. She was a 4-team All-League player. She was an All-State player for 2 years. She was Wendy's Heisman Award winner. Ends up playing in college for 4 years, be a captain, played in the national tournament. You know, was still on the record. It has the most assists in school history. So that has, you know, since she graduated 25 years ago. She was the first one, and then from there I had my other daughter come on, but was a goalkeeper, went on and played 4 years in college at George Fox University, but then it became just a revolving door of great players. I've had 2 All-Americans that have been recognized by the Soccer Coaches Association of America. The first was Stephanie Zamudio. Everybody looked at her. Oh, she's 5'1". She's a forward. How has she become an All-American? Well, she scored 37 goals, had 18 assists. And I still know the stats because I was there with her in Philadelphia when she was recognized. But she didn't get recruited. Too small. Not good enough. And I go, man, get her in front of the goal, ball's in the back of the net. And then from there, I had Tiana Helm, who was part of our team that got second, made 4 straight trips to the state tournament. We're in the finals twice, and ends up playing at Gonzaga University and ends up as a team captain for Gonzaga and leads them previously to their best year ever. But then you have players that played all over. Had a girl that Kaylee Carson, she was a gal who was a defender for me and ends up playing in Iowa, and she's the one I went back to see, and she ends up scoring her first goal as a starting forward. And she recruited one of her former mates and had another girl go back there. So, you know, and you go through that group to the current group, it's just player after player. I mean, the players that are coming back for this next season, it'll be seniors. One of them is being recruited highly, and hoping great things for her as she goes forward. I'm not going to mention her because I don't want to, jinx her going forward. But, and I think what's more important than the players is the relationships that are built. And, I have one former captain who played with my daughters, who's currently living in the Valley. She's a doctor, and her cousin's a doctor.
You sound like almost a proud papa. That's the vibe I'm getting from you. Like, these are all, in one way or another, your kids.
They are. It's like having a big, a lot of girls. And I had the fortunate thing is I had a lot of boys too. And the unique thing is I have 3 or 4 players, girls that I coach. Well, who did they end up marrying? Wenatchee boys players. So soccer player marries soccer player, and they're
probably going to have a couple of really good soccer players,
Well, we hope so. And a couple of them, the girls, I'm going, well, how many kids do you have now? I have 4, all boys. And they go, what? You're supposed to have girls. And then I talk to the boys. Well, how many boys do you have? I don't have any. I have all girls. And I've seen those players come through. And like I said the other night, last week I had the chance to see those guys and their sons and see they play against their daughters who have played either here at Wenatchee or in Eastmont. But then I've also seen what those players have done. you know, I've talked about the doctors, and there's lawyers, and there's school teachers, engineers, all the success they've had. But more importantly, they're giving back to the game. How many of them are still coaching?
Well, Miguel Villarreal, for one, the guy who won a state championship for you, Player of the Year in 2016. He took over the program from you, picked right up where you left off. They went to state last year, went to the Final Four, took home third. He inherited a pretty strong program from Coach Tronson, and he seems to...
Yeah, he and I had about a 2.5-hour talk about, we met and talked about what he had coming back and filled him in, and filled in a lot of blanks that he didn't know about being a head coach. I wanted to help him out on the learning curve about things away from the field.
Right.
But I think what he did is he did not want to rock the boat on what, you know, had been built here. He wanted to continue, and I challenged him. I go, you know, my expectation, if you don't make the state tournament, that's not on the players. That's on you. You know, you have the team. Well, then he put his coaching staff together, which is really unique in that all but Lenny, the coach from WVC, were former players of mine. That's his staff. Or former employees. He had Ricardo Flores as his JV coach, who had coached for me for 3 years. And actually, Lenny, I'd actually tried to hire, offered him a job, and his wife wouldn't leave where they were living. Then 6 months later, he becomes the men's coach.
In 10 years, is it going to be just simply known as the Tronson system? I mean, have you...
No, well, they play an entirely different system, but, you know, it's really unique in that I think Miguel and his staff understand what we built. And I'm saying it wasn't me, it was we, the players. And now I'm seeing the same thing in Cashmere. You know, my own daughters have been assistants. I've had many former players come back and be coaches. One of the girls, Kylie Bruner, or now it's Adamson, is our 8th grade coach out there. And when I retired, she did not move up, even though her daughter will be one of her daughters will be a freshman. She decided I'm right where I need to be to help build the program. And it surprised me. I thought she would jump at the chance to apply, and she did not. She wants to stay at the middle school because it gives her more flexibility as a mom. Her assistant was one of my former players. I had Anya on staff. I had another assistant, Riley Christensen, who has now moved over to Kalispell. We haven't heard. She's applied for 2 head coaching jobs over there. And so, you know, just to see the players go out and coach. And then there's like the guys I was coaching in the alumni game. Over half of them that are playing have sons playing for Wenatchee FC or United. I have 2 former players who coach for Eastmont.
Yeah.
And somebody said, well, when you retired from Wenatchee, what are you going to do now? And I go, well, I'm going to go coach over at Eastmont with Javi Vidal. Yeah, they said no. And it was like when I decided to give up Cashmere, they said, well, what are you going to do? Well, maybe I'll just go volunteer up at Cascade. And that didn't go over real well with a lot of the former players. I got a lot of calls on that one.
Once a Bulldog, once a Panther, you're always a Bulldog or you're always a Panther.
Yeah, and that was the unique thing. A lot of people didn't understand. How could you do both? Yeah. I go different seasons. Yeah. And, you know, when you talk about field surface, going back to that, there's been talk at one time about putting turf in out at Cashmere. But with the grounds crew we have, with Lane Keller, the way he gets that surface down, literally it is cut at 1.5 inches to 1.25 inches. And I have teams that have turf that have came over and they see that field and they go, do you get to play on this every day? And I go, yeah. It is the best high school grass field in the state.
We're almost running out of time again. Newly retired coach, kind of semi-retired Coach Dennis Tronson. What's next for you? You got free time. You quit teaching a number of years ago, but you're still coaching. Now you're done coaching, for the most part.
Yeah.
What's next? A lot of travel?
Yeah, we're going to finish up my 8th grade boys this spring. Talked in that a 7-week season, very quick. I'm now been talked into helping with my grandchildren. I have a 10-year-old playing up with the Manson Soccer Club, 2 of them, and an 8-year-old, and then 2 playing in Cashmere. So I got kind of arm twisted to go up and do some coaching coaches up in Manson to help their club. Then it's, you know, when I help my own granddaughters.
You keep talking about twisting your arm and getting talked into it. I'm not buying any of that crap at all, Dennis. I'm sorry. You love it, and you know it. Are we going to see you around? Are we going to see you here at the Apple Bowl watching the Panthers?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Miguel's always, you know, he goes, "Are you coming?" And it was really neat. Miguel honored me last year at the banquet. He's created the Next Man Up Award, which is named after me, because that was a motto. Somebody gets hurt, somebody gets suspended, thrown in jail, whatever it may be. Boys, my motto is Next Man Up. I kind of stole that from Pete Carroll, so it worked for him and it worked for us that year, and I've kind of lived with that. Yes, my wife and I are planning many trips, like I said, going to Europe, traveling the U.S. Our goal is to eventually go to every national park, which means, hey, got to go to American Samoa and down off the Florida Keys.
Good for you. And save some money for those wedding gifts.
Yeah,
there's more coming. But
there are still coming. In fact, we have a wedding in Montana we've been invited to in Bozeman, and we'll be going over there in July.
Dennis Tronson, one of my favorite coaches. I know my sister misses you in a big way, but as long as you're in our community and hanging around the pitch, it's fine by me.
Yeah.
And enjoy retirement.
Oh, I do.
Yeah. So, and nicely done on the wife too, by the way.
Yeah, you know, I had to recruit her out of high school.
You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. By the way, if you want Dennis Tronson to teach your kid how to play soccer, he's a phone call away. We'll be right back.
News, weather, and sports. It's all here weekdays at 5, 6, and 10 on your local news source, the NCW Life Channel.
So you can see we have a few high clouds in the Cashmere area. That was the Hey Candy camera that you just saw. Temperature hasn't moved, still 36 degrees, which is just about where it should be this time of the day, this time of the year. We had 59 Saturday, we had 59 Sunday. Guess what our forecast high is today? 59 from the National Weather Service. We've been talking about this for quite some time. There's a huge ridge of high pressure that's just been scorching the southwest part of this country. Well, the middle of that high pressure ridge is right over the Four Corners, and we are at the very northern edge of that dome of high pressure, which is why we had that beautiful weather over the weekend. We're going to have it for one more day today, but throughout the course of the day today, that ridge over the Four Corners, the middle of it, is going to start gliding south, and that is going to take us out of the very edge of that dome, and that's going to allow some cooler air to come in on Tuesday night. But in the meantime, it's going to allow a short wave to pop in during the day on Tuesday. So for today, sunshine and a high of 59. By the end of the day today, by about 7:30 or so tonight, it will be cloudy. 44 for the overnight low. No sunshine tomorrow, but rain, and a good chance of rain. 80% chance of rain, especially tomorrow afternoon. with a high of about 56 degrees. And then here comes the cool air that's going to seep down. Rain tapers off Tuesday night. We'll get down to about 38. Sunshine Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, a gradual warming trend. Those overnight lows are actually going to be below normal. As you can see, we're only going to get to 51 on Wednesday. Normal high is 55. Lots of sunshine, but pretty chilly, especially in the early morning hours on Wednesday and Thursday. Back up to near normal on Friday, and just a gorgeous weekend coming our way. We've had some pretty nice weather weekends around here lately, and the weekend coming up, no exception. 62 for the high on Saturday, 65 on Sunday, with lots of gooey good sunshine for everybody. Rain tomorrow, that's about it. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Till then, bye-bye.